to Milwaukee a mere 2 years ago, I was at first blind to the many racial issues that exist. I transitioned to the city from a town of 500 where race was often not a topic of discussion due to the lack of diversity. When I arrived in Milwaukee, I began to hear more and more regarding the severe segregation our city suffers from on a daily scale. The more I heard, the more interested I had become to be. After doing some research in light of this project, I was able to identify a few key events that resulted in Milwaukee's racial structure today. Several areas of concern for people of color were and still are racial housing, public facilities, education gaps, healthcare services, and police brutality. After reading more on the educational gap, I decided to dive deeper behind this issue. James Gropius, a racial activist, was born in the Bayview neighborhood on the south side of Milwaukee to Italian immigrant parents, of which James was the 11th child. A hard-working and Catholic young man, Gropey took strong interest in Black American issues while studying in school and witnessing the struggles of Black Milwaukeeans. He became an activist and participated in the March on Washington in 1963 and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference voter registration project in the South, led by Martin Luther King Jr. in the summer of 1965. Gropey returned to Milwaukee later that same year and began organizing protests against the segregation of Milwaukee public schools. In this photo, Gropey and children from St. Boniface boycott Bishop Antholesky's refusal to allow any Catholic facilities to be used for Freedom Schools, which were temporary, alternative, and free schools for African Americans in order to achieve social, political, and economic equality. Gropey's passion for breaking systematically racist concepts in our city were admirable to many, and his influence led to more people taking a stand on the mistreatment of people of color. Though he was arrested on several occasions, he was vital in drawing light to the segregated housing and racial education gaps in Milwaukee. Flash forward to today, despite the efforts of activists such as Father Gropey, Milwaukee's public schools remain extremely segregated. This does not come as a complete surprise, seeing as Milwaukee earned the title of America's most segregated city. Segregation begins in the home and follows through into the education system. This photo from Milwaukee Public Schools gives a simple yet effective representation of the racial mix present in current-day classrooms in our city. Not only are these schools segregated, but budgets tend to be low, resulting in issues with quality of education and support to students and families who struggle with housing and social and medical support inequalities. This segregation and poor budgeting results in achievement gaps, Milwaukee having one of the worst in America. This gap refers to the rate in which different races attend further education beyond high school or even graduate high school. It's unfortunate that we as a community have fought so hard in the past to rectify these issues that still stand prominently today.